Our good friend and Hispanic vote and CABF founder, Carlos Reyes, agreed to give the keynote speech to us. So, Carlos, please come up.
There's nothing like getting called early in a Tuesday morning and being told you can give not just a speech or at least some welcoming remarks, but obviously a keynote speech designed to kick off what we're going to do. Now, hopefully, what's going to happen here is that Ralph has put out all bulletin alert through BSO and everything else to get folks to join us shortly, and especially Milton Aponte. We're waiting for him because he comes after me. So I may have to drag it out just to get Milton here on time. So we'll see. I'm going to talk about a little bit about the CABF and Hispanic vote and why it is that we're gathered, why we have the sign, why we have the flag, why we have our third annual Hispanic Leadership Summit here. And you know, if you looked at the information, today's outline, you know, the agenda, you'll see the way, actually what was sent out, I'm trying to look at it here, the way it was sent out, it referenced about, you know, what is it we're going to talk about today as a meeting, as a group. We're going to talk about the Constitution, past, present, and future in terms of Hispanic vote and the impact of that. And interestingly enough, part of my remarks are going to be geared towards what we have done in terms of past and where we're at in terms of present. But I'm going to lay a challenge for those that are here, and if we've got a video of it, for those in the future that might watch the video, a challenge about what we're going to do with it so we create our future. Now, how many in this room were born in the United States? Raise your hand. Just I want to see who's my audience. Okay, and so who was born in a land country, a foreign country? Okay, so we've got a kind of an interesting balance here and mix between one and the other. You know, Hispanic vote is made up of, I'll announce it, the executive board. Freddie Avalos is the chair, so he was supposed to give a keynote speech today. Freddie's our executive chair. Our executive vice chair is Ralph Lopez. Our secretary is Jorge Garrido. And our treasurer is Juan Ardiles. And if you look at the website, I'll give you the quick Reader's Digest version. Our mission is to educate, inform, engage the community with the goal of increasing Hispanic voter and political participation. And our vision is for all Hispanics to exercise their right to vote. It goes on to say on the website, join us not only to learn how to exercise your rights to vote, but to also learn how to educate your children, family, and friends to participate in this right that belongs to you as a citizen. And in order for Hispanics to progress, we have to vote. That alone tells you in a snippet what it is that Hispanic vote stands for. Why Hispanic vote, in particular in Broward County, it was considered the bastion of South Florida Latino communities and Hispanic communities. You've got Miami-Dade, you've got Palm Beach, but we're right in the middle. I always like to say that Broward County is at the core, is at the center of all the activity. And this is where we've laid down the mission of Hispanic vote and trying to make a difference. Now, a brief look at the past. In 2009, the Cuban American Fund for a Better Florida was formed in 2009. And the underlying reason is that many of you know, I'm an attorney, and so I've been here practicing for 26 years. And that year in particular, or the year before that, what started as the issue, what created the problem was we had 3 Hispanic judges, and we're always pushing for judges and elected leaders that maybe sound like us, look like us, might have our surname. And that year in particular, 3 judges that were quality people that we knew as practicing lawyers, and quality judges based on what lawyers thought of the judges. Catalina Avalos, Pedro Jones, and Julio Gonzalez, good friends of the community and involved and very professional at what they do. They all lost their seat simply because everyone perceived them, and it turned out to be true, right? Perceived them as being vulnerable. That started a kickoff, a buzz in the community that led to the creation of Hispanic vote in particular. But ultimately, it was Hispanic vote. Initially, it was the Cuban American Pact. And 2011 is when Hispanic vote was formally created. But all because a group of us in the community realized that the Hispanic community needed a voice. Now, I will tell you, as someone who's been around many years in Broward County, my family moved to Broward County when you could yell Carlos and I was the only one to raise my hand. So it's been a long time. So seeing the growth of the Hispanic community is not something that's just recent, frankly. It's been around for many years. But the numbers after Hurricane Andrew and all the things you probably heard before created the groundswell of people moving into Broward County. But even then, in 2009, we realized the Hispanic community was not organized in a way and a fashion to allow its voice to be heard. And so that was really the impetus. I will tell you that from that impetus, Hispanic Vote in its creation in 2011 led to 2012, Hispanic Vote endorsing for the first time candidates in a very organized fashion. Interviews and application responses from candidates. That led to Hispanic Vote endorsing 61 candidates, and of the 61, 52 won. Now we'll talk a little bit about that, I'm sure, during the panel session about what that means, but you might imagine that what it means ultimately is the ability to have the ears of the leadership in the county when you need access, and the Hispanic community in particular, as it grows and as it evolves, it needs access. One of the things we may hear in different ways today is about the growing Hispanic numbers. Despite being 26% of the population in Broward County, we're still very small in terms of representation. So it's a big issue. Now, in 2013 and 2014, I will tell you that there were a lot of activities under both the Cuban American Pact and the Hispanic Vote organization. Both in 2013 and this year, we've obviously held the Hispanic Leaders Summit. We've had actual ambassadors' receptions. We've had a series of after-hour programs talking about events where we had the sheriff of the county, Sheriff Scott Israel, invited, State Attorney Mike Satz, a myriad of the Broward County commissioners, school board members, state representatives, city commissioners, folks that are making decisions that impact our lives every single day. We've invited them, and throughout these couple of years, we've had these events that have allowed us to interact and mingle and exchange ideas and impact the way they think about the Hispanic community and our role in the community. We've also held other programs like community leaders meetings. We've actually had fun events like domino tournaments. We've had after-hour networking events. We've also attended significant events in the community. I mean, have any of you been to the 12th annual Hispanic Women of Distinction Luncheon? I mean, that's a fantastic event. If you go to that event, it's 800 people at lunch. That's a huge grant. It's a big deal. It's very impressive. It inspires you to see what Hispanic women are doing in our community. And to support them, it's a big issue. Same with ASPIDA, network and leadership meetings. We've attended those. We also attended the 10th anniversary VIP party at Bongo's Cuban Cafe. That was a wonderful event, actually. If you haven't been to the CABF website, go to it. You'll see we've been in the news over a variety of things. It's constant reporting of different events and people that come out to the events. And then, of course, one of the things that's near and dear to my heart as an attorney was our effort to do something in 2011 when redistricting came up. Redistricting, you may or may not know, is what happens at the state level. And each county does this, but it's the impact at the state level, where every 10 years we need to go out, the state and the governing bodies, and the county commission does this, and goes about the process of reviewing how the districts are broken up and creates a district map. And it's based on the census. So in 2011, we were looking at the 2010 census data, and where we have 9 single-member districts in Broward County. And so the idea is to try to balance the population as best you can under the federal law to allow for equal representation. Back in 2011, the Cuban Americans for Better Florida Political Action Committee took up the call to submit to the Broward County Commission district maps. And that, in fact, on August 18th of 2011, CABF submitted a districting map to the Board of County Commissioners, where we pointed out that at that time it was 25%, but Hispanics made up 25% of Broward County population. Today it's 26%. And we thought we should have a political voice in how Broward County evolves. And the CABF proudly introduced itself at the County Commission and that day particularly, and submitted really a thoughtful and concrete district map recommendation, as opposed to some kind of empty rhetoric. It really was concrete, and there's a lot of effort from Ralph Lopez and Jaime Montero, Jose Izquierdo, Freddie Avalos, lobbying county commissioners and letting them know that we're here and we're making a submission to reflect and recognize what the Hispanic vote and Hispanic community is doing in this county. On November 8, 2011, there was a public hearing, and the county commission at that day, among its myriad of efforts, unfortunately, they did not vote on our map and selected 3 maps that they were more interested in. And in fact, one of our political consultant, Dan Lewis, who was in the back, was very instrumental in trying to navigate and help customize a map that really did meet the needs really of the entire community. It wasn't just the Hispanic community, because as you might imagine, when you're 25, 26%, that's not enough. You've got to form coalitions to make a difference. And nevertheless, on December 13, 2011, the County Commission voted on the map they wanted. In April of 2012, in collaboration with, in coalition with the African American community, our group of attorneys involved with the CABF and Hispanic Vote filed a federal lawsuit under the Voting Rights Act with the intent of forcing the federal district court or federal court to focus in on whether or not that met the standards. Ultimately, based on the technicalities of someone like Mr. Lewis, who might have a better knowledge of the technicalities they require, it was sufficient enough that we decided that it wouldn't bear fruit. But we ultimately dismissed it, but it really was a reminder, because all of that process really got us engaged, involved, and educated in a way that had been much more meaningful than in the past. And the fact is that going through that experience reminded me in particular, as I stand here before you today, and all of our group, that this is where we stand today, but it really brings us to the topic of today. We're talking about the United States Constitution today. We're talking about Hispanic vote. We're talking about past, present, and future. And the issue is, what is the future? Because that experience, sort of it should highlight for us what this is all about. What is the future? What does it look like? What can we do in Broward to change the paradigm? What can we do in the outlying counties, Miami-Dade and Palm Beach, to enhance the paradigm or change those paradigms? As we hold the third Leadership Summit, our continuing goal for 2014 is to unite Hispanics on broader issues to gain political power. We want to encourage Hispanics to vote, right? We want to encourage Hispanics to become civilly involved. But here's the challenge. Specifically, I said, civically involved. But here's the real challenge I want to share with you today. Now, I've been in Broward County active, not living for more than this, but active for 26 years in different variations. I've seen generational change, and it's been amazing to me. Broward is different than Miami-Dade and Palm Beach. Period. We agree, right? It's different. Despite changes, we still have and will have vast differences between Cubans, Puerto Ricans, Colombians, Venezuelans, and other Hispanic groups. When you factor in the issues of conservative versus liberal views of government, it serves to further divide us. And yet, for those that think a singular philosophy is the best way, we also have the issues of look around us. We've had single Broward County, whether it's economic, immigration, education. If you think those things are resolved by a singular philosophy, all you have to do is look at Broward County and the one-party system that's been in place really for over 30 years. If you look at our community, what has changed? Our numbers are changing, right? That's one thing to focus on. But the reality is, for us to move forward, we're going to have to find some common ground as a community. We're going to have to decide, what can we agree on? That can help people with certain Hispanic surnames or accents participate in the table that makes these decisions. Participate in the arena where decisions are made. It's not about Cuba. It's not about Puerto Rico. It's not about Mexico. It's not about Venezuela. It's not about Colombia. It's about the United States and where you live. It is being here. It's not about conservative. It's not about liberal. It's simply that as Hispanics, we can bring a different perspective that can make the whole that much better. Until we get into our heads that being at the table is the key. Not what country you're from, and frankly, not what political party you favor. We will remain on the outside looking in. And frankly, I'm tired of it. I hope you are too. No one gives up power. Not the Democrats at the county commission. Not the Republicans at the state house. You want power? You want the Hispanic Leadership Summits to be meaningful? You have to go out and get it in this country. And how do we do that? Through the ballot box. We do it through the ballot box. Don't tell me about Cuba. Don't tell me about Colombia or Mexico or Venezuela. If you're here, become an American citizen so you can vote. And when you have that privilege, you exercise it. You vote. So we're here today on the broader question. That broad, larger issue is, can we agree on issues that will unite us as a Hispanic voting bloc? But for that, my friends, we will have the same old, same old. Instead, I'm going to suggest to you that that is the future. That, my friends, is the future, and that's the key to our future. Can we agree as a community beyond our parochial country designations that there are larger issues that we can all agree on? And today, this session ought to be about how we come to a position where we have agreement on that larger question. I hope today you have a wonderful session and really focus on answering this question, because that's a similar question for us as a community in this county and this area of Florida. God bless you. Good luck and welcome to the Hispanic Leadership Conference.